Welcome to Haycraft Ministries, and we're going to be focusing today on 1 Corinthians 13 verse 11, which says, "When I was a child, I spoke as a child, I understood as a child, I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things." And what we're going to discuss today is kid brain versus adult brain, and I do have some notes so that I could remember what I wanted to focus on. And one of the common denominators amongst inmates and other people in society today is impulse control. And in impulse control, this means that they want what they want and they want it now. And that is very much kid brain, this impulsivity. And one of the things that controls that is self-discipline. And unfortunately, we've become a society that doesn't want to wait for much of anything. We have an almost instant mentality, and we have microwaves. We have medications that do work quickly. Thank God for that, so that we don't have to suffer. And a lot of times, parents, instead of parenting and making a kid earn a reward, will just give them something. There is nothing wrong with having positive gratification and reward for positive behaviors, but it doesn't have to be $200 or $300 item. I've never understood why a parent would give a child a $200 or $300 cell phone and then rebuke the child when the inevitable happens, such as the cell phone getting broken. That is the parent's fault. That's not the child's fault. Another characteristic of children is selfishness, and that is where it's like mine, mine, and they need to be taught to share. Another thing is self-centeredness, and they believe that the world revolves around them. And as adults, we understand that is not so. Another thing that kids frequently do is a matter of cruelty, and they have to be taught empathy. That means that if it hurts them, it's going to hurt someone else. And this leads us into our last characteristic, and this is not an extensive list, which is children are unaware. They're unaware of how their behaviors affect others. And as we become adults, we do become aware that what we do matters. And we have a lot of adults that are still functioning with kid brain, and that's called emotional maturity or immaturity. And that we don't like to be disciplined. We don't like to develop self-discipline. And that is one of the things that you can help other people do. As we get older, we can look back and see how many times we were functioning at a level of emotional immaturity. Even as adults, we have moments that we can sometimes struggle with emotional immaturity. So when we have this common characteristic in a particular subcategory of our population, what do we do? And this is where mentoring someone who has behavioral problems, psychological problems, can come in handy. When people are released from incarceration, there's a lack of support system and structure frequently. And this is one of the shortcomings of the church, because and society in general, they like to view these people as bad people, and that they, don't want to deal with them. They're afraid of them. They think that everybody that has a felony charge against them is some kind of axe murderer or rapist or did something horrible. And actually, the people who do those things are it's a very small percentage of the prison population. And we'll discuss in another video about what the term felon encompasses. And so what do we do with ourselves? One of the things that we need to do is lead by example. If we can't become self-disciplined, if we can't wait for things, if we don't understand to teach other people empathy, instead of cruelty. How many times have we had someone approach us on the street or in a store or something with something simple, such as asking for directions or any of these things, and that we have remained silent or we've tried to avoid them or different things like that, that's a form of cruelty. When someone reaches out to you, and you have to have discernment, I do understand that. When someone reaches out to you, that's an opportunity to have human interaction. And we have so many people that are in our society that have this horrible loneliness. And if you've never experienced that, then you're very, very blessed. That is a common thing in these rural areas. And it's a common thing in the prison population. Because a lot of these people, through their behaviors, have lost everyone. And if you have no sense of purpose in life, then do you really care what happens to yourself or others? No, you don't. So, I'd like to focus again on the impulsivity and give you this to ponder today. How many times in your life has God told you to wait? And we've, like children, we gripe, we kick, we scream, we throw a tantrum. And hopefully at some point we mature enough to understand that He, as parent, is telling us to wait for a specific reason. You know, it's like a kid waiting for their birthday and they're like, well, I want my presents now, I want my presents now. And how many times do parents give in to that? A lot of it is just to shut the kid up. That teaches the child nothing. And so this is one of the things that we can help people develop, which is coping skills, you know, to breathe, relax, trust that the wait will be worth it. And so it goes back to self-discipline. How disciplined are we? How can we help other people become disciplined? I've recently had challenges with this myself. I was diagnosed as diabetic back in August. And as such, that was a, you know, very big wake-up call for me. I can't eat everything that I want. I thought that I was pretty disciplined in my eating, but those glucose levels, no, it was showing something. So within the past week, I have been really trying to modify my diet. And I can tell you that keto flu is real. But as I see those glucose levels drop, that encourages me to keep doing what I'm doing because, you know, I'd like to be able to get off insulin. And with that, I have to be self-disciplined. So how many times, where can we help ourselves become better with self-discipline? How can we help others learn this? And, you know, like I said, with impulse control, that's what it's called in psychology. It's lack of self-discipline. And to be gentle and kind. You know, you can be firm and fair while you're being gentle and kind. To sit there and explain to somebody, you can't have it now. I will give this to you later. You can work to earn this, but you can't have it in this moment. And just because you can't have it in this moment, it will not kill you. So, let us pray one for another, and thank you for being here today.